Okay, and we're back. Question 19. In which step? Oh, I guess I gotta scroll back a little. Just a little. Okay. A student completed the following 4 steps to solve the equation. X over 40 plus x over 60 equals 1. Here's the steps they solved. In which step was the mistake made in solving the equation? So let's just go one by one. So what did he do here? What did they do here first? So what they're doing, they're multiplying by 120. Why did they do that? Because they're trying to eliminate these denominators. So they picked the lowest common denominator for those, right? Uh, for example, think about something smaller number, say 4 and 6. They're trying to help solve this equation by getting rid of these denominators. Okay, so for example, my smallest denominator between 6 and 4, just a couple ways you can figure that out. Just think about it. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Oh, 6 times 2 is 12. Hey, 12, that seems to be the first common denominator. Or list them, right? List the multiples of those numbers: 4, 8, 12, 16. You got 6, 12, so on. There's our first one. So that's the smallest multiple, or lowest common denominator. So if I were to multiply, for example, this by 12, I multiply it here and I multiply it here. So I know that 12 divided by 4 is going to give me 3. So I would get 3x. 12 divided, when I multiply 12 to this, it goes to the numerator, and then 12 divided by 6 would be 2. I would get 2x. So they do that to get rid of these fractions so we don't have to work with them anymore. Okay, so that's what they're doing there. But instead of 4 and 6, it's 40 and 60, so 120 works good for that. Okay, so we can see why they're doing that. Then they multiplied them here in the second step. Divide by 40, divide by 60. And 120 divided by 40 is 3x. 120 divided by 60 is 2x, kind of just like we did, so that's fine. Then they add them together, 5x equals 1. Then they divide to get rid of the multiplication of 5 and x. They divide by 5 to the right side, and get x equals 1/5. Seems okay, except they missed a big step. What do we always do when we're solving equations? If I have something like this, if I do it to the left side, I have to do it to the right side. I can't just divide by 2 without doing it here, right? And that's what they forgot to do. They multiplied 120 here with the intent of getting rid of these denominators, but you can't just multiply the left side by 120 and say that everything's equal still. They should have also multiplied the right side by 120. So the mistake was made in step number 1. Okay. Number 20, what is the value of the expression 2 squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 3 if 8x equals 8? So we're just substituting in. They want to know the value. It means we're substituting in to get an answer. So we could literally plug it into all of these here. We can do one thing to save a little bit of work before we start substituting in. We could combine these two terms. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable to the same exponent. We can't add 2x squared to negative 3x because different terms, that's a different term, that's a different term. Okay, something that's a constant is also considered a term. So if they're different terms, we can't add them, but like terms, we can. Remember, so we're gonna add this. So I could do this, 2x squared minus 3x plus 2x, so negative 3 and positive 2 is going to give us negative 1, or just negative x minus 3. So I decided that would just save me some time if I do that first. Okay, now I'm going to take my x equals 8 and substitute in. Okay, find that a little bit easier. So 2 times now 8 squared minus 8 minus 3. Okay, so that's going to give us here 8 squared is 64 times 2. 2 times 64 would be 128. And then we're subtracting 8. And then we're subtracting 3. So 128 minus 8 is 120, right? 120 minus 3 is going to be 117. Let's see, there we go. Looks good to me. Moving on. Again, you pause, rewind, go back, whatever you need to do. It's a video. You're in control. You have all the power. All right. 21. If the expression blah, 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 is simplified, which of the following rows identifies the coefficient and the constant? Okay, let's review some terms here. 2x plus 5. A coefficient is a number that's multiplied next to a variable. Something without any kind of variable is a constant, because as this changes, if x is 1 or x is 2 or x is 3, this value changes. If x is 1 or 2 or 3, this does not change because it's not multiplied by an x. So that's why we call it a constant. Okay, it stays the same even if the value of x changes. So this is my coefficient. And this would be, in this case, oops, took a little roundabout way to get there, my constant. All right, but that's not our equation. That was just an example. And what we do need to do, though, is simplify this first. Okay, we need to collect like terms. So we have, there's that's an x term with an x. Here's another one, x, and here's another x. Okay, so let's add those together. Minus 3x plus x plus 5x. Okay, so minus 3 and positive 1. Minus 3 plus 1 would be negative 2x. And then negative 2x plus 5x would give us 3x. Okay, so there's our coefficient, should be 3. And assuming that we did it right, we can see that those are not going to work. So it's going to be one of these two answers, because there's our coefficient of 3. Okay, now let's do our constant. We've got plus 5, minus 8, and minus 7. Minus 8 and minus 7. So I could do this from left to right, but I'm going to do it this way, because negative 7 and negative 8 will give me negative 15. And I can kind of easily combine that with positive 5, and that's going to give me negative 10. So we had 10 or negative 10. So my constant is going to be negative 10, and my coefficient is going to be 3. So my answer is B. So, and also I did these parts separate, but if we were simplifying this or combining it, our result would be 3x minus 10, right? When we add those two, that we take that